It's time for number 14 in my series of comic book movie reviews, with the third entry for this iconic character in a series that wasn't so iconic. This is the part where I would usually like sing the Spider-Man theme or something, but honestly, I just don't give enough fucks about this movie to do that. So, go! Spider-Man, The Dragon's Challenge is brought to us by director Ron Satloff and stars Nicholas Hammond, Robert F. Simon, and Rosalind Chow. We once again follow Nicholas Hammond as Spider-Man. We do. He's in the movie a bit. When the Chinese Minister of Industrial Development, whatever the fuck that is, life is threatened by an industrialist who wants to open a power plant, Spider-Man has to spring into action to try and find some people to clear his name and save the day or something like that. You know, this movie is really fucking convoluted and I'm not 100% sure what all it was about. It's more or less that, I guess. It's just that, you know, this fucking movie's boring as shit. I had a real hard time paying attention. Look at me. Look! Do I look tired? Well, that's because this movie bored me to fucking sleep almost. It is so fucking meandering. Oh my god, this movie. What the fuck happened to this series? The movie is just a mess overall. It doesn't even seem like a movie. It doesn't even seem like a TV show, which it originally was. It just seems like a bunch of random shots that they took and kind of sort of constructed a narrative around them and put them together as best they could, like it was a dare or something. Can you take all this extra B-roll footage and make a movie out of it? And they said, sure, I'm up for that. But they weren't. Just nothing happens in this movie. How do you make Spider-Man boring? Yeah, I know you can make Spider-Man bad. We've seen some of the later movies. But boring? He can be bad, sure. But boring? How do you make Spider-Man boring? Look at this movie. That's how the fuck you make Spider-Man boring. Not to mention that Spider-Man in this movie seems like a fucking side character. I mean, yes, he is in the movie. Peter Parker is here, but he is not the focus most of the time. Who is the focus? Who's the main character? I don't fucking know. It's like nobody is. Like I said, it's just a collection of random fucking scenes, and every now and then Spider-Man shows up. Like the two movies before it, this is a two-part episode of the Amazing Spider-Man TV show that they put together and threw out into theaters as a movie. This is in fact the last two episodes of the show to ever air. And seeing as how this is where the show went, I absolutely get why the fuck it got canceled. The plot is just unnecessarily convoluted as hell. It is boring and uneventful overall. And why the fuck is Spider-Man in China? Honestly, the movie may have said why, but I had probably just tuned it out at that point. But I mean, really? Who the fuck cares? I mean, I posed the question, so I guess I kinda do, but not really. Beyond it having many of the same actors that were in the previous two entries, it doesn't even seem like it's in the same series. His ridiculous clairvoyant Spidey sense is still a thing, though. Much like the last movie, inexplicitly, now he can just see the fucking future. That's his Spidey sense. Fuck seeing if somebody's behind you, if there's a car rolling up on you. No, he just sees a few minutes into the fucking future. It's pretty trippy when he does it, too, because like the screen goes all like crazy 1970s colors and his eyeballs just start flashing real fast. I'm sure it's great for epileptics. Quite honestly, I'm okay with it though, because the crazy eyeball flashing lights that come along with his Spidey sense that look like this have more personality than all the characters combined in this movie. These are some dull fucking characters in a dull fucking movie, and the performances are, you guessed it, dull. The word's starting to lose its meaning. Everybody, and I mean everybody, just seems bored as hell. And you know what? I can sympathize, because I was too. And nobody's like better than anybody else. They're just all fucking bad. The action scenes, what few there are like totally devoid of excitement, and they're so bad that they're just fucking laughable. Now I know this is the 1970s Spider-Man, so I'm not like expecting greatness. I'm not expecting nowadays Spider-Man. If you look back at my two reviews of the previous two movies, I said that, there are things about these effects I actually really liked, especially the first one. They made a lot of really creative choices, and they made that shit work. When he's climbing up the wall and stuff and jumping on walls and ceilings, it looks really damn good even today. And we get a little bit of that here, just a little bit. But everything else just looks really fucking bad. Like, somehow the effects got worse. They're just really lacking and come off as overall pretty lazy. I mean, they've done this better before, twice. The music here was a choice. I will say that it is the funkiest Spider-Man soundtrack to date. It feels out of place, but it's not really bad. It's just very 1970s. If you're into that whole 1970s kind of wow 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 kind of music, then you're gonna like the soundtrack here. If not, then you're gonna fucking hate it like the rest of the movie. Guys, Spider-Man, the challenge of whatever the fuck this movie's called, it's not good. It's convoluted as fuck. The story is boring. The characters are boring. The fucking movie is boring. I was boring. Just everything involved with this thing is just fucking boring. Soundtrack's funky, but beyond that, there's just not much that this movie does very well. In fact, most of what it does is pretty fucking bad. And with that many hits against it, it should come as no surprise that Spider-Man: The Dragon's Challenge is a fucking dumpster fire. I wasn't expecting greatness here, but I was expecting something more than this. Cinematic ambient, that's what the fuck this is. What happened? So there it is, guys, my review of Spider-Man: The Dragon's Challenge. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits that go along with that, like these guys. And possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Greg C. and Dragon Con. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, China! So what's next on the comic book movie review list? Oh, John Carpenter is having his first foray into the comic book movie universe. Swamp Thing! Dun-dun, dun-dun. You make my heart sing. Dun-dun, dun-dun. I know that's not the words. Dun-dun, dun-dun. But I don't give a fuck. Dun-dun, dun-dun.